First of all, I'm going to take you through a bit of a journey from a Gumatj perspective, or in a community perspective, rather than a regional one. So economic development for us, what's it mean for the Gumatj people? And then what did it end up meaning for the region? Look, first of all, a lot of this was Galarrwuy's vision when I first took on the job, and he asked me to take on the job, even though I wanted to retire and go fishing. He said, get my people off welfare. And that wasn't a bland statement. What he said, get them into sustainable jobs, because sustainable jobs is not just an income, but it gives them the right of choice. It gives them the right to go their own direction. And they were very powerful words, even for me, and I've been around a long, long time, I can tell you. So the first thing he said, and we talked about this, and the board knows all this, and Sean, wherever you are, you know all this as well, is that we sat back and thought, what are we doing wrong? And the thing we did wrong was we relied far too much on government to fix things. It wasn't that it was a cheap way of doing it, is that that was the norm in communities. We just sat back and let it happen. I guess we then turned around and said, okay, so how do we do it? And we came up with a formula that even today we hold on tightly to, and that is we make our commitment to make the community safe, healthy, strong, and we hit on the education. Because if your community isn't that, if you don't have the strong people, if you don't have a good education, and you don't make them safe, you cannot have a workforce to go forward with, all right? There's just too much humbug and too many problems within the community. Then we turned in to say, well, what is possible to do? Now, all of us are visionaries, you know, we all, and I think I made this statement just a minute ago, we talked about what we can do, and we would all like to build pyramids, but we thought, let's just do a quarry first, you know. So our vision, we started off with a small farm. We started off with cutting a few trees. We had a very small outlet of butcher shop. We had a small fishing venture. We had a small nursery, and then to roll on for 3 years and this is straight from the heart, and we're open to this. In Gunyagara now, we've got an enclave that's safe for women that can work in the shop, the coffee shop, the nursery. We've got a young children going to school at long last that feel safe. We provide breakfasts there. We then branched out and started providing jobs for the men. We've now got a timber mill that not just cuts timber for our own houses, but we're now actually selling timber to New South Wales, to Sydney. We're selling timber to Darwin, and we're starting to, and I've got to thank the Minister for this, we're actually starting to build trusses for houses for Indigenous peoples, which is a first for us, and thank you for that. We also turned around and on the cattle station, we started off by saying, how many million head can we have? Well, we've only got 1,000 head. But that 1,000 head creates enough for us to start a small butcher shop, and we've now just purchased a butcher shop in town, and we supply 90% of the meat for our region, and that's a good thing. And 2 Indigenous trainees, first in Nhulunbuy, I might add. We started fishing, and everyone said, how many trawlers are you going to buy? I said, well, we actually bought a little dinghy. Why? Because, well, a little dinghy has a little net and we catch small fish, and it's working. We're now getting enough fish in to feed the community, and we've just been offered net licences that cover all the way down to Blue Mud Bay if we wanted to. We're becoming the hub of the fishing industry in this region, so that Yungal can come and learn how to process fish and market their fish, which is a big thing again for us. We've still got a long way to go, and Philip mentioned the mining side of it. Well, let me just, I'm not going to say we're any further ahead than we should be. We started off by getting involved with a joint venture with Delta Reef to build houses. And why? Because we need staffing houses. We can't afford to go out super commercially and just rent houses everywhere, so we thought we'd build our own for our people. We then said, well, look, concrete's very, very expensive, and it's very hard to build houses economically at this stage. So we then went along and we chased Rio until they sold us the batch plant. So now we own a batch plant and we're starting to do concrete. So we've got timber, we've got a batch plant, and we're nearly working on a quarry shortly. And then we'll have very cheap housing, I hope, if I can talk my partners into it. The other side of this is we then started looking at training. And a lot of people say certification is good, and it is, and it's very necessary. But something I learned all the time, it's no good having a bag full of certificates if you don't have a job. It's no good having a bag full of certificates if certificates don't give you 100 hours on a bulldozer or a backhoe or a grader, because they just don't get you jobs. It's just impossible. So we're reversing this. We're saying we'll do the training, we'll guarantee the job. So the Mine Training Centre, if you like, is a hub of training, but we guarantee jobs with that. We're not going to become a Rio Tinto mining. Everyone said, how many million tonnes you're going to ore? I said, well, think of a small quarry, because that's what we're doing. But what it will do is allow us to get our Yungal people to have hours on the job, hours on machines, on graders and backhoes and loaders and rollers, so that they can diversify through Arnhem Land and actually get jobs for when jobs appear. And Minister, I respect, we're all building on the jobs out in the bush, and when we turn around, so we get off welfare, get jobs. But if you don't have the hours and you don't have the training and you've only got a certificate, you won't get it. So we're trying to do the opposite to that. The difference is we're saying, as Gumatj, we will offer you a job when you start on your training. And at the end of the training, as long as you qualify, you will still have a job. We're not going to just train and send you out the door. But we're also not miracle workers. We're only going to do 24 people per session, 2 sessions per year. But we're opening it to East Arnhem Land. Now, we've always got, we've only got contacts from Gapawiyap, Kalawinku, that really want to come in and send their men here. Some of the Heart team you'll meet this afternoon have already shown interest in the coming here. So it's not just for Gumatj. We don't do that. But I have to say, a lot of people criticise and say, oh, you know, you're working for a mining company. We're not. We engage with the mining company. We negotiate with the mining company to the best of our ability, because we will be here a long time after that mining company's gone. And that's what we're trying to do, is build our future. And look, I round this off by saying this. The jobs will not all be for mining. There's administration jobs. We're going to have cooks, we're going to have cleaners, we're going to have the lot. But our experience tells us this: if you're going to do this in the region, start small, start practical, but be honest about what you're doing. Do not train without jobs. Do not offer a fairy story, because that kills the ambition of these people. You must be serious about what we're doing here. You're dealing with people's lives and their future. But if there is a job in it, I can tell you this: we have 65 people working for us, and they enjoy coming to work. We are a bit more flexible. We are a bit more congenial to the way we deal with them in culture aspects. But every morning, I know why I go to work, because I see my guys in uniform waiting. And really, I can go on for hours. My 4 minutes is up. So with that, I'll leave you with this thought. Gumatj has still a long, long way to go, but we're well up the ladder from where we were last year. So thank you.